Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Martha Simmons with another session of Preaching and Preachers on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Good afternoon. We're about 5 minutes late, but we're going to try to make up that time. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. It's a sunny Monday here in Atlanta. Let me say good morning to my people on the West Coast who get up early and watch. Shouting out the folk in the Midwest and those on the East Coast, and certainly the folk in the dirty South. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. And when you come in, tag someone. Tag someone. They can watch this right now, or it'll be up on my Facebook page for about a month and on YouTube for much longer. If you are watching via YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe. Come on in and let me know that you are out there. We are waiting for one of our guests, and he's going to join us probably in about 30 seconds, but we've got some amazing guests for you today. Because we're running about 5 minutes late, I'm going to go ahead and get started. As always, we are praying for those who are sick. Shout out to Reverend Dr. Frank Anthony Thomas, who, and I know, this was all over Facebook. So we want to shout out to him for a successful surgery. And we are glad about that. We're praying for those who are experiencing a season of bereavement. And today we're praying for all of those who are housing insecure and food insecure. Come on in. Good afternoon, Wendell Craig Woods. Good to have you with me. Come on in, and when you come in, tag someone. Tag someone. Let me get through some very quick announcements. Many of you know about the We Ain't Buying It campaign. Starting tomorrow, November 25th, many of the flyers have said December 2nd. I'm going all the way through December 5th, November 25th through December 5th, so that they don't get any Black Friday money, no Cyber Friday money. We are shutting our purses and our wallets. We are doing this. We see what we did to Target. All we've got to do is hang together. So at least do your best. So go out today and get everything that you need. Get your gas, get your groceries, get your everything. Okay? We ain't buying it. Just do your best. And then on December the 1st, I'm going to do a potpourri Monday. On December the 8th, I'm going to talk to people about the rural and the small church. So join me for that today. I want to talk about those serving those who are in custody and returning citizens. Serving those who are in custody and returning citizens. The first thing I want to say as we get started is for us to start to get our language right. We call people who were incarcerated returning citizens. They're not ex-cons. They're not ex-felons. And for those of you who have different ministries for serving people in the church, we don't use the term prison ministry anymore. Okay? We don't use the term prison ministry. So update your language. It's okay if you have to do that, but make sure that you have it right. Update your language. And this is such an important topic. And for those who serve in ministry, it's really, really important. And we need to tell the truth. All of us either have relatives who have been incarcerated, who are incarcerated, or we know someone and are close to someone who has been incarcerated or is incarcerated. So the church needs to tell the truth about that and then make sure it raises up the necessary ministries to address that. We are Black and brown people are over incarcerated, over policed, and that's just the reality. And the church needs to get ready to deal with that reality. So let me get to my guests so they can help us figure out how to do this. And Mr. Payton is going to come in and join us shortly. Uh, First, we have Reverend Dr. John Ducksworth. Dr. Ducksworth acquired a bachelor's degree in liberal arts from State University of New York, a master's degree in professional studies from New York Theological Seminary with a concentration in counseling, and a second master's in public administration from John Jay College of Criminal Justice with a concentration in management. And he earned his Doctor of Ministry from New York Theological Seminary. He served for 17 years with the Salvation Army. He's provided leadership to court-based programs, community corrections, probation, and juvenile justice agencies. He has worked with them all. He is our sage today. He is our sage for this discussion. And he's also licensed in restorative justice, and we are honored. We are honored to have him with us and thankful for the work that he has done across the years. We always want to remember that someone came before us and made the way, and he is our sage for today. He is currently the director of the Restorative Justice Project for the Center for Children's Advocacy Law Firm. Then we have Reverend Donna Otis Esquire. Reverend Otis is a preacher, licensed attorney, and she is the founder of Naomi's Daughters, a ministry devoted to providing support to justice impacted women and their children. Naomi's Daughters has provided ministry and resources to women detained at Cook County Jail in Chicago, Illinois, and she has done this for over a decade. She's committed to the work. She collaborates with local nonprofit organizations to provide a monthly reunification ride, which allows children to visit their mothers who are in prison. She was once a teen mom and high school graduate with a 1.6 GPA, but she defied all of the odds and earned her bachelor's degree with a concentration in computer science from Roosevelt University and a law degree from the University of Illinois and a Master of Arts degree with a concentration in spiritual formation. Her legal experience has been primarily as a litigator trial attorney in civil law. She's also trained. I'm telling you, when I tell you we got the guest, we got the guest. She's also a trained chaplain. All right. Then we have, and we're still hoping he comes in. We have Chris Payton, who is a licensed clinical social worker, and he is a seasoned behavioral health leader based in New York City, working with the Exodus Project. He's dedicated his life to doing this work. He holds a master's of social work from Columbia, a master's of public administration from Baruch College, and a master of professional studies from New York Theological Seminary. And he's got all of the certification you need when you are doing behavioral health. And he serves as the Associate Vice President of Behavioral Health at the Exodus Project. And then we have, last but not least, Mr. David Nieves. He has more than 30 years of experience navigating the criminal justice system in New York State. His life, his entire life, is a narrative of perseverance, faith, and unwavering service to other people. He was born in Puerto Rico, and where he first experienced the harsh realities of the justice system. At the time of his first arrest, he had only an eighth grade education and he wasn't fluent in English. And he was locked up and he was supposed to serve a 28-year sentence in New York State maximum security prison. But while he was there, he dedicated himself to education, mentorship, and personal transformation, which means he was taking care of himself and looking out for other people against all of the odds. He ended up earning a bachelor's degree from Bard College and a master's from Union Theological Seminary. Um, this he is proof for those people who think we can throw away folk because of their background. He is proof that we should never do that. He became upon his release in 2021. He became a first case manager at the Exodus Transitional Project, and later he was in supervisory positions, and then he became a substance abuse clinician at the Exodus Transitional Community Wellness Center. And I can't even remember what role he's holding now, but it's a high one because he's been there, he's done everything, he knows the place, and we're just honored to have him. And we're going to keep hoping that Mr. Payton can join us. We're still hoping that he's going to join us. All right. But we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with you, Reverend Otis. How long have you worked with women in custody and their families? I think you muted yourself. I don't think she knows she's on mute. Reverend Otis?
Yes.
There
Can you
go.
hear me?
Now we can hear you. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I've worked with this with the women since 2014. I began working with this population, but my first experience with this population and basically with Cook County Jail actually started as a child. I'm a preacher's kid, and on Sunday evenings we would go to Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church. What a fellowship hour! And on the pulpit there was a woman, a female preacher, and her name was Mother Consuelo York. Yes. And when I started to find out about Mother York, I found out that she was a minister. They called her a jail preacher at Cook County Jail. And I started to see images of her surrounded by men who were detained at the jail. And for some reason, as a young child, that was of interest to me. And then after that, I started going into the jail, taking the youth from New Covenant Church with my friend, Judge Lewis Nixon. And on one of those visits, we went to the women's division into a small library there. And that was probably around 2006. And in that library, I saw women who looked like me of all ages. And there was a woman there who sung the song, "I Won't Complain." And from that moment on, that sparked my interest in this going to the jail. And then once I answered the call to preach at New Covenant and licensed by Pastor Stephen Thurston, he said he wanted to restart the jail ministry. And I raised my hand and I've been going in ever since.
My goodness, how wonderful. Shout out Pastor Thurston.
Yes.
You know, I grew up in Chicago, so I know all those names you're talking about. All right. Dr. Ducksworth as our sage, and I'm going to ask the same question of Mr. Nieves. How long have you been doing work with returning citizens, and how did you begin doing the work that you do now?
I'm going to use the term. I'm going to say I've been doing it too long, but but if you want to date, I've been doing it since 1985.
Whoa. Okay.
Um, and your question, what brought me to this work?
Yeah.
My own lived experience. My own lived experience. My faith.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a movie.
Hmm.
Watching them at the time, I was pastoring in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw the movie Dead Man Walking,
Whoa.
and there was a particular scene in the movie
Hmm.
where the nun knocks on the door and is asking the man a father to sign a petition
Mm-hmm.
to save someone from death row, and he invites the nun in, and he says she gives her spill, and then he says to her, "I've been a Catholic all my life."
All right. All right. Hold on just a second. We've got Mr. Payton with us. All right. All right. Mr. Payton. All right. We can see you, and all right, we got him there. Go ahead, Dr. Ducksworth.
So he listened to her, spill, and then he said to her, "I've been a Catholic all my life. When my daughter was murdered, not one of you showed up at my door.
Mm,
So therefore, leave my house and don't ever come back." For me, that was an epiphany in terms of if I was going to be a man of faith,
mm-hmm,
I had to be willing to advocate for those who were harmed
mm-hmm,
as well as those who had been harmed.
mm.
And that's what I have done since 1985, easily, on a host of different fronts.
All
In
right.
my work,
Okay.
in my ministry, and in just my private life.
Okay. Mr. Nieves, how about you? How long have you been doing this work? And how did you start doing
Okay, that is a great question. And if you take into account recidivism, over
it?
20
Mm-hmm.
years. I have been part of the system in the
Okay.
sense of transitional service, pre-release, the whole process of getting guys ready to go home, right? To go to the promised land. And I even wrote a book in 2017 to help individuals do that while I was still incarcerated. I was released in 2021 after 28 years.
Whoa.
So my work have been all together in both spheres, inside and outside. And
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about returning citizens, it's a great term because those are my peers. Those are my peers. I grew up
Mm-hmm.
with most of the guys have been incarcerated. So it have been after my own transformation, 20 plus years.
All right, all right. And Mr. Payton, we are so glad you were able to join us. Mr. Payton, how long have you been doing the work you're doing, especially with returning citizens? And how did you start doing it? Can he hear us? I think he's muted as well.
First off, sorry for the lateness and the visual
Go ahead,
problems.
go right ahead.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can. Go
Can you
right
hear
ahead.
me?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the lateness. I've been doing this work since basically since I changed my life. I'm formerly incarcerated, and I've done 20 years. I believe I started to really change in 2010. So that's when I really started working on the inside, similar to David, facilitating most of the programs on the inside. And when I was released in 2014, I started working with individuals on probation and parole at the Osborne Association, and I worked in shelters where individuals were coming home. A lot of them were returning citizens didn't have anywhere to live.
Mhm.
So in that capacity, and also as a mentor at the Osborne Association.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Um, the term that was formerly used in churches, or as I said at the beginning, for all of this work was prison ministry. Reverend Otis, why is that such an incorrect term?
It's an incorrect term because it limits the ministry. It limits what's necessary. It's more than just prison ministry. It's advocacy for those who are incarcerated. It's stopping the school to prison pipeline. It's going in the jails. It's going in transitional housing. Prison ministry limits the ministry and the work in this field if you just call it a prison ministry. And
Mhm.
also, it keeps that language in the mind of somebody who may be a returning citizen,
That's
prison
right.
ministry. And it labels people incorrectly. It
Yes.
puts a title on them incorrectly. And that's why I think prison ministry is too limiting, and it's used by congregations kind of, in my opinion, to check a box. The
Mm.
Bible says, go into prison. We're doing that. We have our prison ministry. So it's too limiting.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely too limiting. And I hope that churches just stop using the term and stop tying that around the necks of those you've got to serve. Dr. Duckworth, from your perspective, what is healthy ministry or service to returning citizens, and how have you attempted to do that work? What's a healthy way to do it?
One is, I think, when people have returned from prison, the idea of bringing them into a congregation, making them part of congregation life without a lot of stigmas, without a lot of baggage. Because the truth is, those of us who have already been in a congregation, we have baggage too,
Mm-hmm.
whether, whatever that baggage may
Mm-hmm.
be. Uh, so bringing people into the congregation, um, ways in which that's done, I think that was your question. Um, just the same way we bring people into our congregation on any level.
Yes.
If I go to a corporate board meeting and I want some of them to come into my congregation because they can write checks,
Hmm.
do the same thing.
My goodness.
Realizing the fact that people who are coming in through this particular pathway are have skills, have things, needs of their own,
Yeah.
but they also have skills they can contribute to a congregation. The other thing that as you asked the question that pops in my mind is I think that when people coming in from corrections have or from prison have needs, they need a job, they need housing, they need money in their pocket, what I refer to as dignity money.
Yes.
Uh, and they these needs, I think the church has to respond to them. Um, and be of assistance. The church can't hire everyone, but the church can be an aid, can help, whether it be referring. If I'm coming home tomorrow and Dr. Simmons, you know someone who's looking to hire, give them my name.
Mm-hmm.
Put a word in for me, helping them. There's also doing things along the idea of transitioning. Uh, Help me transition back into the community. And that's done on an individual basis in 101 ways. If it's just simply taking someone to a restaurant, who's been in prison a lengthy, extended period of time. One of the things I have found, and it's indirectly to your question, people don't know how to read a menu
Yes.
when they go into a restaurant from long-term incarceration.
Right.
And what do many men do, or many women do? They go to an upscale restaurant, and the first thing they order is a cheeseburger and French fries.
Yeah.
Without processing it. So if I'm on an interview and I'm ordering cheeseburger and French fries, I'm not enhancing my ability that I've acclimated into society.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a million and one things. Each person is individual, but doing those things, introducing them to people with resources, and then endorsing them.
Absolutely. Definitely do that endorsing part. Definitely, because I think too often churches see this kind of ministry as as Reverend Donna said, as checking a box, and then just moving on. And we're skittish about endorsing people, and we're skittish about acting like we really believe in transformation. We're real skittish about that. We want that ex-con label. We want everybody in the church to know this is an ex-con. Okay, and we keep labels attached to people. Mr. Nieves, what's healthy ministry for returning citizens from your vantage point? I mean, you've been through it. What was helpful for you? What has been helpful for others that you serve?
I think that the basic is encompassed within that prison ministry, right? How misleading it is, how
Hmm.
incomplete. I
Mhm.
have been through many years of ministry in prison.
Mhm.
And like you said, it's one thing to minister to God from the pulpit, and it's
Mm.
one thing to see him being released and being accepted into the community. So I have wrote down 5 things about the prison ministry
Mhm.
and they are of concern. The the first one, that is not centered on the person.
Mm.
People go to prison as a, like you said, checkbox. I want
Yeah.
to make me feel good kind of approach. I go to prison to preach,
Yeah.
but it's that I don't want to, for lack of better words, it's an arrogant process. I'm going to
Mm.
tell you about survival. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you about salvation.
Yeah.
Where people in prison are experiencing suffering at a level that many other people who are free will never understand.
That's correct.
And then the second part is it reinforces the stigma. Everybody in the group know that they're going to prison to minister to prisoners,
Yeah.
not human beings, but prisoners.
My goodness.
And they fail to understand that some of those men that are in prison are more free than anybody else in the world.
Mm.
You know, that those walls are not keeping their spirit, their soul, or their hope for a better future. Right.
Okay.
And the frame way, it's not mutual. So when you go and you're going to interact with the guys
Mm.
who are incarcerated, you don't see them as equal, so you don't think you're going to gain nothing from it. So that places the
My
whole thing
goodness.
at a disadvantage, right? My 4th point, and I don't want to be long-winded, is that it overlooks the continuum beyond the prison walls. So, for
Yeah.
example, you say you're part of my community, but yet that ends once you release.
Mm.
That ends
It's
because of,
because of,
I think
I
Dr.
think Dr.
Ducksworth
Ducksworth
can
can
expand on that.
expand on that.
The
The
You need
in
healing,
healing,
right?
right?
Crime
Crime.
is an injury to society, to the community. So when the guys return, there had to be a healing process, so he
Mm-hmm.
can be accepted into the community as an equal, which is very important in order to continue what we call ministry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my last point is the logical context of the Exodus and liberation, which starts in what? In enslavement. And then from enslavement, we go to the wilderness and then
Hmm.
the promised land, right? So, in, you know, connected to liberation, transformation, human dignity, restoration, more important, the journey towards the promised land. That is not a place, you are part of the community.
All right. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Payton, talk to us about serving returning citizens. What kinds of services have you provided, and what kinds of things do you believe are healthy and helpful for returning citizens, as well as people who are incarcerated? Mr. Payton, I think we've lost him again. There we go. His
Yes,
sound.
I believe that people need. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead.
I believe that healthy service is to treat people with dignity, respect, and
Mm-hmm.
practical supports. You know, and in the Bible we see uh, examples of this. For example, in the New Testament, Acts 9:26 through 27, Barnabas, you know, his action towards Paul mirror what it looks like to support returning citizens coming home from incarceration. You know, Paul first tried to join the disciples, but many were afraid of him because of his past of persecuting Christians. And
Mm-hmm.
when he tried to join the apostles, they were skeptical. But Barnabas stepped in and he advocated, spoke on his behalf, and affirmed the change that he saw in Paul. And you know, Barnabas's willingness to advocate for Paul and give him this acceptance helped springboard into his calling, which was to convert many people into Christianity. So I think in the same way, when people come home from prison, they're met with skepticism,
Right.
stigma, and people may judge them for their past. So as a person who works with formerly incarcerated people, I believe, you know, individuals should play their Barnabas role, stand beside them, vouch for their growth, or speak to their potential and help others see what they can be, rather than who they once were. So helping people may entail writing letters, writing support letters. When I
Mm-hmm.
return home, I received many support letters from people uh, to vouch for my character, for jobs, schools, for certifications, for licenses. Jesus said, you know, I was in prison, you visited me. Matthew 25:36. So he was teaching how, you know, we treat people who are marginalized, forgotten, mirrors.
Okay. Okay, Reverend Otis.
So the type
Yes.
of services I provide, you know, we do provide at Exodus. We try to advocate.
Okay, okay, okay. I think we're having some technical issues, but Mr. Payton, you are coming through. Reverend Otis, why is it important to have a presence before people are released?
I think it's important to show them that people care, that they're human. I specifically work with the women, and although the women make up a small percentage of most overall incarcerations, most of the women there are also mothers. Over 60% of mothers with minor children. These women are victims of abuse, sexual, physical abuse, and since 1980, the amount of women who have been incarcerated has increased seven
Right.
times.
Whoa.
So a lot of times, and this is to my womanist preachers, we need to continue to reach out to the women, and if not the women, to the children of the women.
Mhm.
It's important that they see someone care. When we go into Cook County Jail, we bring toiletries, we bring
Right.
lotion, shampoo, feminine products. We now have worship services at the jail for the women. Recently, we brought in Chicago Mass Choir. We bring in ministers. The women enter the prison, and it's a team of us that go. It's a prayer warrior, pastors, social workers. I don't go alone. And we treat them with humanity. They come in, we stand up and we greet them.
Yeah.
Something they do not see often. I've been in the jail where there was a mother and a daughter there. Primarily, I'm ministering to brown and black women, but it's just the presence, it's the consistency, it's showing them love. I do Bible study, really trying to tell them that they're more than the court docket says they are.
That's
They're more
right.
than the charge says they are. They are human. They are loved. God still loves them. And despite what's going on, recently I was in jail and I told them while they're there, get something to hold on to, whether it's a song, it's a scripture. And I told them, for me, my song is Jesus is on the main line. Tell them what you want. And as we were leaving, the women had to leave that room and be basically searched. And in the background, I heard the women starting to sing, Jesus is on the main line.
Hmm.
So we go there and we offer them hope. We offer them love. We offer them care. It's not just to tell them you're wrong. We're not going there to judge them. In the years I've been there, I didn't even ask what their charge was. I
Right.
saw them as my sisters, as my aunties, as my little daughters. For the children that I meet the bus for, I went on, met the bus and a reunification ride this past Saturday, and the kids gave me a card. And one lady on the bus, a grandmother, she said, "Can I just have a hug?"
Yeah.
So, as a trained chaplain, it's the ministry of presence. Just
Yes.
showing them you're loved, you're not forgotten, and God loves you.
Yeah. Dr. Ducksworth, tell me the things that you believe prevent churches from, what are they doing wrong? What are they doing wrong? The things that don't allow them to assist returning citizens well. What's missing?
I would say fear is one of the things. And on the other hand, I would say shame.
Whoa.
Fear, fear coming from the fact that people are coming home, people who went to prison are coming home, and I don't know what they did. And because of the way they're positioned in the media and in other places in our society, is basic fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable letting this person in my house. I live alone. I'm retired. Again, so that's one is fear. The other is shame. Shame that my brother is in prison, and I don't want people in my congregation to know that.
Yeah.
So that's shame. So one is fear and shame. I think other variables that stop churches from being involved in this ministry is the bureaucracy of the system.
Whoa.
You know,
Yeah.
prison walls were built for two reasons: not only to keep people in, but also to keep people out.
Hmm.
Uh, so, so there's a number of bureaucracies. In I live in New York State, and I'm aware that there is New York State law that says any clergy that lives in a particular town can visit any prison inside that town any hour of the day they want and be go throughout the prison.
Hmm.
In New York State, most clergy understand that the fact that I can only go in if I have a gate clearance that's went through 99 and 44 100 hoops to get in. That they just can't walk up to the door and say, "I'm a chaplain in this town." Now, if you live in town A, you can't get into prison in town B. But if you're a clergy in a particular town, you have access to that. But so there's and then we think of the bureaucracies that come in, just the different bureaucracies within the state needing to get approval to go into a facility.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a combination of one is fear, and then the other fear and shame, and then the other is the bureaucracy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in my opinion, the system is not welcoming to people from the outside coming in. They don't welcome us.
Right. Right.
They would rather you go do something someplace else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the last I would say is ignorance.
Mm.
Ignorance on behalf of the fact that who's in prison, what harm is being done, uh, and so so those are my three things.
Okay. Mr.
Many of us
Nieves, from your experience, what is it that hinders churches from offering the kinds of substantial, positive ministry that they could? What's been your experience?
I'm gonna divide. There's a duality. I'm gonna divide it into two. As you know, many uh, members of the clergy go inside a prison, and many of them are being paid by the system.
Hmm.
And I seen that within that group a duality. I seen men that really want to change, but I'm going to quote Nietzsche, and pardon me for that, the philosopher.
No
Those who
problem.
fight those who fight monsters should become aware of not becoming monsters themselves.
Hmm.
Because when you look deep into the abyss also look into
Looks
you.
That's correct.
So my interpretation is this: is that you cannot be part of the system that creates pain. You cannot see pain and not be affected by it. And,
Hmm.
and in my experience, many of the clergy that work in prison have been abandoned by the system. They have been abandoned by the ministry. And what happened is that they become burned. They want to become a paycheck for them. And they adapt to the prison conditions, which is the only institution who benefits from the guy not rehabilitating. In
Mm.
many cases, the system is charged with your rehabilitation, but they the only ones who benefit from you not rehabilitating.
Yes,
But then you
absolutely.
have the ministry component, and how, in my opinion, many of the churches fail to support those going in.
Mm.
Fails to support those going in. That's one part. And then the second part is the continuation of the ministry, right? Once the guy is released or about to be released, he's the individual going back to the community, but there's nobody out there waiting for that community, for that guy to be received
Yes.
in many ways that Dr. Ducksworth was talking about, right? With dignity, with a sense of, re-entering into the community, because they're afraid. They don't know. I'm a firm believer that sometimes we don't ask what you did because it don't matter. But in my opinion, it does matter what you did, because you had to deal with that yourself. The
Yeah.
person who takes a life
Mm-hmm.
had not received, he had received a punishment, but the question is, have you received the therapy? Have you received the healing? Have you
Yeah.
mend your ways? And correction is not equipped with that, but the ministry, that the churches is, the community is. How you feel after you took a life? Horrible. I hated myself. What you had done to build yourself? What had you done to correct yourself? This is
Yes.
something that a parent, somebody who cares, will ask his child,
Right.
not ignore it. I'm not going to ask what you did. No, I want to know, because I want to know that you had taken care of yourself.
Yes.
Many individuals don't talk about their crime until they show in front of the parole. I was one after I went to the board for the first time 25 years later. When they asked me about my crime, I said, I don't remember. That happened 25 years ago. I was going to joke about that. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I remember. But it's silly that the church and the members of the healing body, right, we're healing individuals, are afraid to ask.
Hmm.
Let's ask. What have you done to be here? And what have you done to better yourself? I'm not going to judge you, but I want to have that conversation. I want to understand that you are healed, that you work on your issues. How can I support you unless I get to know you?
All
My
right,
opinion.
all right, absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Payton, um, as someone who's providing uh, mental health kinds of services, what can we do better as churches from where you're sitting? What can we be doing better to help people, Mr. Payton? There's a delay.
Yes, a delay.
Yeah, there's a delay. Go right
Just
ahead.
yes. Well, first there's a disproportionate. It is a disproportionate representation of people with mental illness in the American jails and the prison system. About 2 in 5 people incarcerated have a history of mental illness, and they uh, get limited treatment on the inside. And most people who were on medications going inside do not stay on medications. So
Mm,
this they can cause um, adverse behavioral conditions where they get tickets and they're barred from programs that could be rehabilitating and also give them opportunities on the outside, like college programs. So this is the population that's coming out. And what I believe churches can do is just be there for them. And like you said, show them that dignity and respect. That's therapeutic in and of itself.
hmm
When they have a supportive person they can speak with, especially if they're traumatized and they're being degraded by society, and make that referral if it's warranted, if they have past mental health history and not getting treatment, encourage them so. and also have those groups, support groups available, mentors. Just being there, standing alongside someone is very therapeutic in of itself.
Hmm. Hmm. Reverend Otis, what can the church do better? You know, first of all, we just need to make sure that we go to the facilities because we used to, but I'm not hearing very much about ministries to people who are incarcerated. That's really gone down. So I know the first thing we need to do is just increase our visibility and make sure that these ministries are happening. That needs to happen all over the country. And I know that, 30% of churches in America have 100 or fewer members, and small churches may think that they cannot help or do ministry, but you are absolutely wrong. You can make a difference. Reverend Otis, what can they do better?
I think churches, rather than reinventing the wheel, partner with organizations that are already doing it.
Yes.
Dr. Harold Dean Trelaw has something he calls the healing communities, where he actually trains churches.
Mm-hmm.
Really learning information about what's going on with the jails and prisons in your area.
Yeah.
What do they need? Talking to those who have returned as citizens and asking them first, because in my opinion, churches have a habit of creating programs which,
Hmm.
without talking to the people, the
Right.
programs are for.
Right.
So the first thing I recommend is talking to individuals who are returning citizens or people who are detained and finding out what do they need, what happened when they were there, what are they missing. I'm in Chicago. Churches like Trinity United Church has a strong justice ministry, talking to those churches that are doing it to
Right.
find out. And then for the jail here, Cook County Jail, you have to go through a training. Going through that training and finding out the members, is this for you? You really have to do a self evaluation and know your faith and be strong in your faith and your beliefs and really understanding why you want to go into the jails or the prisons. Because once you're there, you're going to encounter individuals of multiple faiths.
Right.
So, really doing some self evaluation, I would say partnering with organizations and churches that are already doing it, and
Yes.
talking to individuals who already lived this life. When I go into Cook County Jail, I take women who have been detained there who can share their stories.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Dr. Ducksworth, and
Yes.
as we get
Dr.
toward
Simmons.
uh, Dr. We're going to let him go because I know he has to get out of here. Dr.
Yeah.
Ducksworth, uh, what can people do? What can, especially churches and even individual members, what can they do to to help returning citizen or even to assist in the kind of work that you are doing?
One, I'm going to piggyback on what Reverend Otis said.
Mm-hmm.
One is show Dr. Jean Trulez, healing
Mm-hmm.
communities, be in partnership with people who are doing this work. Don't try to do it on their own.
Yes.
Don't try to recreate the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
In Chicago, well, it's not in Chicago, but I don't know if she's known to either one of you, but there's a Cheryl Graves who works in the Chicago area. Being in fellowship with that. Um, there's in New York, there's a program called Coming Home, which partners individuals coming home with people of influence, things like that, being in partnership on a host of different levels. Another thing that we haven't touched on, where churches can be involved in, is state level advocacy around the justice system,
Yes.
the legal system, doing things like that. And thirdly, I'll put out, minister to their own congregation regarding the fears that they have, the shame that they have. Many a mother in the congregation have shame that their son is incarcerated.
Mhm.
Minister to that.
Right.
Minister to our fears. You know, minister to my wife that she doesn't have to be afraid, not that she is afraid of an ex-offender, a formerly incarcerated individual coming home. Minister to that need. Lift that voice up in the congregation. If you never go inside the facility, minister to the people who are being on the receiving end when men and women come home. And I will leave it at that.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Dr. Ducksworth has to leave. We're going to stay
yeah.
on about 5 more minutes, but as our sage, thank you again for the work that you are doing and for the work that you have done across the years. You've touched so many and you've helped
Thank
so
you.
many. God bless you for your continued work. Take care now.
Healing good.
Yeah.
Be well.
All
All
right.
right.
Mr. Nieves, go right ahead.
Yes. I would like to point out an institution who's doing an amazing work with
Mm-hmm.
bridging those two, community and the guys who are incarcerated, and like the Union Theological Seminary, they got
Otis.
they got a master's program in which they gave master's degree to students. But this master's degree is more a leadership tool to go
Right.
back not only to the community but to prison and lead guys into the right path
Hmm.
of personal development. So the tools that the energy is being utilized not only to connect them to the outside world, but to make prison a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Prison is a continuous battle to remain human. I spent 15 years without touching another human being
My
in a
God.
loving way. And it
Mm.
was a volunteer for the church that hugged me.
Yeah.
And I freaked out.
Mm.
And I freaked out. I didn't have that embrace, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And the system, the institution, meaning the theological institution, helped me to understand
Yes.
and what I'm feeling, right? I'm regaining my humanity. But
That's right.
more important, and then I discover my calling. What is
Hmm.
my ministry? And my
Yes.
ministry is anything that I do, I had to do it well because I'm doing it for God and for others human beings.
Yes.
I felt lonely at one time until I started recognizing that the guy to my left and the guy to my right are both worthy of love.
Yes.
And that's something that I learned through my theological understanding of my situation. And that happened
Mm-hmm.
through higher education.
Mm-hmm.
So supporting institutions like the Union Theological Seminary with the master's program, you got the institution that I work for, in which being incarcerated is not a liability. It's not
Yes.
a liability. We work on it, right? I was hired by this institution the same week that I was released after 28 years.
My goodness.
Mindful. The I didn't know what a cell phone was. When I got arrested, was no cell phones.
Yeah.
And this institution trusted me to hire me.
Mm-hmm.
But more
Mm-hmm.
important, it provided the support system to make me succeed, right? It's not like, okay, I'll give you a job, now you're on your own. No, no, it was a lot to learn. And their experience and the experience of all the people that have been through it helped me not to fall in some of the traps that many of the
Yeah.
guys who recidivate.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what we talk about when we say community, right? A belief in the higher power, but that belief attached to action.
Absolutely attached to action. Let's see if we can get him quickly this time. Mr. Payton, what can churches help people with who have mental health issues connected to their incarceration? How can churches help? Like I said, there's a bit of a delay.
As a behavior, as a behavioral health leader, one of the most important things I can share is this. Returning citizens, okay. Returning from prison isn't just a legal or social transition. It's a deeply emotional and psychological one. So many individuals coming home carry shame, trauma, isolation, and fear of starting over. So having untreated mental health conditions is a big thing as well. So this is where religious community can come in. Faith communities are uniquely positioned to offer what every human being needs: dignity, belonging, compassion, and hope. And at the heart of behavioral health is the belief that people can grow, change, and heal. So at the heart of the faith community, redemption is real. So when those two come together, we can help people coming home, not just to survive, but to thrive.
Yes. Yes, because that's exactly what we want people to do. We want people to be able to thrive. My time is up, and I just can't thank my amazing guest enough for not only being here, but for the work that you all have done. I mean, you all are frontline people. You all are frontline people. And I can't thank each of you enough for all of the lessons that you have given to communities and for the lessons that you have shared with us today. God bless you for all you as you continue to do the important work that you all do. And if anyone wants to be in touch with any of our guests, excuse me, I thought I had turned that phone. I thought I had turned the phone off. Please just you can hit me in, go into the chat, and certainly you can DM me and I will put you in touch with any individual that you want to reach out to. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in advance. And remember, November 25th through December 5th, we ain't buying it. Remember the campaign. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe. And last but not least, as I always say, share the video. It won't cost you anything, and this video will help someone. God bless everyone. Take care, everybody. Take care. All right.